All right. So what, Ethan, why don't you throw the first question that we got up on the board there? All right. So Bob, yeah. So those are the ones that someone else had emailed in a long time ago, and I never really got around to doing it because we didn't have a good format for it. So Bob wants to know what's the difference between fee-based and fee-only advisors, or is there a difference? Is that just jargon, or is there an actual difference? And this is a great distinction, Bob, and I think it's really important that everyone knows what this is. So if we think of the two main ways that a financial advisor like me could get paid. The first one is commission, where we sell a product and we get paid some big dollar amount on that. So a common thing would be like annuities, right? A lot of people that work with retirees sell annuities, and so you might get something like 7 to 10% commission on that amount. So if you got $100,000 that you are investing with someone, or they're going to peel $100,000 out of your total investment, right? And they put some of that into an annuity, they might get a 7% commission on that, which means for selling you that product, they would get $7,000, right? The other way that advisors can get paid are through fees. And so commissions, right? You buy a product, you don't usually see the money as it's transferring. The insurance or the product producer pays the advisor. With fees, you are paying the advisor directly, and it's going to route through the firm, but ultimately goes to the advisor. Um, and those come in two fashions. One might just be a straight dollar amount, right? Um, where you're either paying like a flat upfront fee or a monthly fee or a quarterly fee, something like that, for them to do financial planning work for you, etc. Or a percentage fee. Hey, they're going to charge you a percentage of your assets to manage those assets for you. And so that's the other kind. So it's either commissions or fees, right? And so on fees, right, let's say that they were doing the normal like 1% fee for managing it. So they take that same $100,000, instead of putting in an annuity, they just roll it to an IRA. They charge the 1% on it. They're going to get $1,000 for that first year. And usually that's divided by 4, and it'd be like $250 per quarter that they would get paid on that. So $7,000 now versus $250 a quarter. So if an advisor does both of these things, then it's fee based, right? They can do commission and fees because they're fee based. They do a lot of fee work. They manage your investments. Maybe they charge you a planning fee. Hey, we're CFPs. We're fee based. We really emphasize planning. And so they charge you, and they tell you about the fees up front. Then they get you in the door, and then for a lot of them, then it's commission later on. So they're not usually leading with commission. I mean, sometimes they are, I guess, but and so that's both. So if you do both, you're fee based. Then there's a separate set of people who just do fees, don't also do the commissions, right? And so that would be, I don't know if it's this way or how you would do that in the Venn diagram, but that would be fee only, because they only do fees and they don't do any commissions, right? So fee based means both, fee only means just fees, right? And I don't have any particular issue with commissions in general. I think commissions can be a great way to incentivize great work, great customer service, a lot of different things. My issue with it is mostly in what it incentivizes them to sell, right? In that, if you look at this, right, if you got $100,000 that we're going to peel out of your IRA to do something with, right? If I'm getting paid $7,000 now or $250 now, do I have the same incentive to recommend both strategies? And I would say no, right? This I'm not really making a ton, $250, and I'm gonna have to share some of this with the firm, right? And this one I can go to Tahiti with right now. Some people would argue, well, hey, eventually, right, that 1% is going to equal that 7. You're just going to keep making that every year. And I would say the difference is that you only need to work with someone once for them to get paid this, where if you work with them on an ongoing basis, they need to deliver value to you year after year after year for 7 years before they would earn that, right? And so yes, long term, forever, you could get paid more, or you might pay your advisor more doing this, but they got to earn it for the whole time, and they only have to earn this once. But again, more importantly, most of the time on these commissions, and it seems like the worse the product is, the higher the commission, because they need to entice people to sell it, right? So the way you get these bigger 10% commissions is truly terrible products. And And that's why, again, we always want, I think everyone should be working right with a fiduciary, which is, hey, they're legally required to act in your best interest. But again, sometimes they can present as a fiduciary because they do fiduciary things with the fee, and then they take that hat off. They got their little, I don't know how to draw a hat. They got their little fiduciary hat, and they take that off, and then they put on their suitability hat, which is, hey, now I just need to sell you something, suitability. Now I just need to sell you something that is suitable for you, that's good for you, not the best. And so oftentimes between option A and option B, B is way better for you, but A pays them way more. And so they're incentivized to do that. And so that's why I don't care for commissions. Again, not because of the way it's paid, but because of what incentivizes people to do. And personally, in my experience, good financial strategies beat financial products 6 days a week and twice on Sundays. Part of it's just because the number of hands on the cookie jar really matters, right? So if you're just working with a really good financial planner, a really good fee-only fiduciary financial planner at a firm, like you're paying them for all that they know, all the work that they've done to get to that stage, and they can spread that out between you and a bunch of other clients, and probably low-cost investments and some of these other kind of things. And if you're buying products, they got to pay the advisor, they got to pay the insurance company, they got to pay the underwriters, they got to pay the actuaries. There's just a lot more people that need to get paid, so they're more expensive. And the more money you have going on in fees for no value, the worse it is for you. So a lot of the products just end up being bad. There are ways, right, where you can have the same product in an advisory form, which means they're still going to get the 1% on it. They get paid the same way. So I don't have any issue with that. Again, it's not the products. I don't care for annuities, but they do make annuities that get paid the same way either way. Like I could do an annuity if I wanted to, because I get paid the same way either way. But there's a reason most people take the commissionable ones, and it's not because they're better for you. So hopefully that makes sense. Kind of long-winded answer there. Fee-based can do both. Fee only is only going to do the fee-based stuff. I always think you should know what you're paying and what you're getting in exchange for that money.